What is happening, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cowboy Plays, and today we're doing some Final Fantasy XIV. In particular, we're going to be doing a dungeon, the Qitana Ravel. So I've been playing a lot of 14 on stream and off stream. They released the Gunbreaker class, which uses a gunblade. It's pretty freaking awesome. But I would consider 14 to be one of the best MMOs out there right now. A lot of people are asking if I'm gonna go to WoW Classic. Hell no. Why would I go to WoW Classic when I got Final Fantasy XIV and my big chunk? Look at this thing. Look at it. Appreciate the way it waddles. And the little legs, they wiggle when you jump. Anyway, let's do this dungeon. So we're going to be watching all the cutscenes. This is my first time in here. So, it's gonna be going through the rotation here. I gotta move this thing? I feel like I gotta move this thing. Oh no, oh, it shoots out. Oh god. Think we got it. Oh. I didn't even have my tank stance on. Oh lord. A little bit tired right now. Just got done playing a bunch of pool volleyball, but I had to have a good episode of Cowboy Plays, so this is what we went with. Okay, let's do it. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Final Fantasy in particular, how it's different from a lot of other popular MMOs. So probably one of the biggest things about this game that I think sets it apart is that all of your classes are on one character. So whereas in, Elder Scrolls or World of Warcraft or what have you, if you're playing a rogue and you want to level up a mage, you're making a brand new character. Whereas in 14, your class is tied to your character. It's tied to what weapon you're using. So, like if I go to gear set list, I have machinist gear, warrior gear, dragoon gear. I have a bunch of different sets, but literally switching my weapon will change my class and allow me to play something else. So, if you really wanted to, you could level up multiple classes at the same time, essentially. In general, you want to get a class to max first, because then you get an XP bonus as you level subsequent classes. But, I've played pretty much every class in the game, at least to some extent. Come over here. I've just always found tanking to kind of be my thing. But yeah, if I go character, let's see, character, classes, you can see I've had pretty much everything except for Scholar and Astrogen. Haven't really touched those at all. Dancer is a brand new class, so it was basically like I'm either going to play Dancer or I'm going to be playing as Gunbreaker. And I really wanted to level up his Gunbreaker. What's this chain? Damage dealt increased. I think that's the chain. Let's see if the chain fades when the buff goes down. It does, okay. But so you got all your classes. It's very PvE-centric, I would say. One of the things that I really like about this game is like the raids, the dungeons, they're all really, really entertaining. You got pretty cool mechanics going on at times. The PvP, I think, is probably the most lacking part. You know, the PvP, you do have arenas, which are kind of lackluster. Like 4v4, it's not really all that good. And then you have battlegrounds, which the battlegrounds are, I think they're called warfronts now, but they're pretty crazy. They're kind of out there. And when I say out there, I don't mean like in a good way. It's like you're in them and you're like trying to figure out what the hell is going on exactly. It's just, I mean, usually it's like a capture the flag type scenario where there's, or not capture, but a King of the Hill where there's like 3 different areas that need to be held down. And it's, you know, and you want to kill people while holding those areas. It's basically a giant shit show. So that is one thing that I do miss about WoW. And compared to this game is I really like the battleground system in WoW and the arenas. But in terms of PvE content, I think Final Fantasy does a much better job. And obviously being able to switch classes on the fly to something else is really nice, especially in like a raid scenario. You know, if you're like in a raid and it's one of those encounters where you only need one tank, I can mix up and play something like Machinist or Dragoon or whatever my team needs instead of having a second tank. So I am a Lion Bro. Lion Bros are pretty cool. Called Hrothgars, but they're basically the Ronkas from Final Fantasy X. First boss in this place. This place looks pretty big actually too, so it was a good choice for the episode. Anakin's statue begins to emit an eerie glow over there. I don't know what I gotta do. Oh, shit. I'm trying to think what exactly the mechanic here is. I don't know if I need to turn him away from it. This thing is definitely getting stronger, though. Okay, so it looks like it's just an AoE on the side that the statue lights up. I just gotta avoid it. Super Bowl like coming in clutch. Whew. Got a tad bit close there. Casting, scouting. We'll pass on that stuff for somebody else. Whew. Let's get a little crazy here. We got Fending, 406. Ring? What are my rings at? Rings are 395 and 390. So we're going to need on that and we'll pass there. Next boss, you gotta hug me real tight. It's a mechanic. This fucking guy. Another thing I find interesting about this, and maybe it's because I'm not endgame and I'm just doing dungeons, but I feel like the overall community in this game is a lot nicer than my experience with like WoW. So I mean, I think so. ESO I consider kind of in its own category. To me, every time I've played ESO, it has always felt like Skyrim, but there's other people around. Which is weird because ESO actually has like mechanics designed around, playing with another person. Though your ultimate ability has like a secondary component to it that can be executed if you're with somebody else. But despite that, almost every time I was playing, I was by myself. Whereas with this game, I feel like unless I'm going through and doing main story quest, I'm always playing with somebody. Like just freaking constantly playing with others, which I love. So I feel like that's, after all, what's the point of an MMO if you're not playing with other people? Ooh. Forgot to put my damn food buff up. Think of all the XP I've been losing. Casting, striking. Ooh. This thing is big. Bat Squatch. Sound wave. I don't know what that does. So I guess I could talk about my rotation a little bit. I know I'm not talking much. I don't tend to talk a lot in dungeons, but so the basic gist of this class. God. So you start with this Keen Edge. And then from Keen Edge, you go to Brutal Shell, which is going to create a barrier, restore some HP. And then you go to this, which is going to add something to your cartridge gauge. From your cartridge gauge, you can either Burst Strike, which is just a 500 potency move, or you can go into your Gnashing Fang combo, which you're going to see me do right here. And you weave in your continuation. So you go Gnashing Fang, into Jugular Rip, into Savage Claw, into Abdominal Tear, into Wicked Talon, into Eye Gouge. So it's a pretty, it's a pretty fluid rotation. The idea that you're building up your powder gauge and then you're executing your combo. And then when you have spare gauge, you can of course use Burst Strike to just let the ability loose. There's a couple other things we have. Right here we have No Mercy, which is just going to increase my damage dealt. So I'll do that right before I go through a big damage combo. We have stuff like Danger Zone and Bow Shock, and those are just off global cooldown abilities. So I can just fit them in at any time just for a little bit of extra damage. You can see how like certain abilities are rotating. Oh Lord, no. They died. I don't think we can get through this. We're gonna try though. I'm hanging in there as much as I can. There's no way we're gonna do this. Just trying to figure out how to weave in horoscope. I forgot about the mechanics. Wow. Wow, that's that's an oof. So anytime you die in a dungeon, you can usually take a shortcut. It'll just help you to get back to where you last were. In this case, we'll skip past the first portion of that zone that we went through. So this is where we beat the first boss. Then we'll just have to run back on over to where that second boss is at. Some other things this class can do. Bloodfest, which will just instantly add 2 cartridges in for you to dump out damage. Lightning Shot, which is just a ranged attack that's good for pulling if you lose aggro. Heart of Stone, which is pretty cool. It's a it's on like a 25-second cooldown, and it's a 15% damage reduction, but I can put it on myself or a party member. And if I have the shield up from Broody Shell, it'll give that to a party member as well. So like if somebody's really low, I can toss that over as like an emergency heal on them. A bunch of different defensive stuff. Camouflage, which increases parry rate by 50% and reduces damage taken by 10. Nebula, which is a flat 30% reduction. Aura, which is a 200 potency, 18-second heal over time. I got Rampart, which is like every tank can get a hold of this, just 20% for 20 seconds. And Super Bolide, that's my super big cooldown. It pulls my health all the way down to 1, but for 8 seconds, I take no damage at all. Super, super clutch move. Heart of Light, which is just a giant AoE that's going to reduce magic damage taken by self and party by 10%. And then Reprisal, which will lower something's damage by 10%. So some pretty cool stuff. What you saw me use right there was Rough Divide. That's like my engage. I can use that to get on into the fight a little bit faster. But it's a pretty cool kit for a tank, because I have like my big dick damage combo. And then outside of that, you know, I just have a nice solid rotation. And some of the things I really like is Brutal Shell. You know, with the combo bonus, you're getting a small heal and you're getting a barrier, which is really nice, you know, because you're seeing just like a double tanking type effect going on. And then, of course, you know, 400 damage on the combo potency. Pretty nice for a finishing move for a tank as well. We're gonna stop that shit. But yeah, I mean, tank has pretty good potential at stopping multiple enemies. Like I have a nice AoE combo you saw me doing there, which is pretty straightforward. I just go Demon Slice into Demon Slaughter, and then I can go up into Fated Circle, which will use up one of my things to do the combo. One of my cartridges. Pump that. Go Sonic Break into that, into that, into that, into this. Well, I'm not gonna get the whole thing off before my buff runs out. Whew, Bat Squatch was no joke. Striking, pass, casting, I'll pass. Love the animations in this game too. Like going through my full rip and tear combo, God, it's just so satisfying to watch the character execute that full combo. Striking. Ooh, Fending Bracelet 406. Yep. Hit a need on that. There's 2 extra gorillas that are going to join in, it looks like. Yep. Definitely agreed that. Weapon? Oh, what's this? Oh. Slay Warden is big. Let me put on that new gear that I just got. Learn the targeted AoE state of the sides. Hit it harder than the last time you hit it. Great. We need you to turn around, friend. Can't get rid of me. Nice! And another Light Warden is down. Let's give this guy one. Be good damage. What was the loot? Oh, I got both. Nice. Well, anyway, with another Light Warden defeated, we're going to wrap things up. Because if I go much further, the folks from stream are going to get upset because I'm doing this without them. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed your look at kind of what dungeons are like in Final Fantasy XIV. It was a pretty interesting one. Not my favorite dungeon, but that boss fight was pretty cool. I like that a lot. So anyway, if you guys want to see more Final Fantasy, I do play this a lot on stream. Usually like Tuesdays and Thursdays tend to kind of fall into the Final Fantasy XIV bucket. But anyway, thanks for coming on by for another episode of Cowboy Plays, and I'll catch you guys next time.